So all the dear students and all the participants who have teachers and parents who have joined the webinar, welcome to the New Age Career Conclave. Today we are doing our next session, the second session for the day, which is into the world of robotics, automation and engineering. Before we start the web session, I would just quickly like to introduce what this Advancing Northeast portal is all about. Advancing Northeast portal is basically a one-stop solution, a one-stop platform where we're trying to help students make informed decisions around their career as well as their livelihood. So in the portal, there are three sections. One is education, another is employment, and the third is entrepreneurship. So it's aimed to help the youth of Northeast. If anyone wants to get information around any of these three areas, may it be the colleges, may it be the entrances, may it be the they may want to study in India or abroad, want to know about scholarships, fellowships, what are the different government exams for different jobs, what are the employment opportunity around entrepreneurship, different avenues around different government schemes around entrepreneurship. We've tried to create a one-stop portal. This portal was launched by Honorable President of India on 4th of May in Guwahati. And this portal is being supported by Donor Ministry, Northeastern Council, and it was developed by NETFI. And I'm Dinesh Lahoti. I'm head career coach and was a project leader for Education and Employment Division. So I, on behalf of Advancing Northeast portal, would like to welcome all of you who have joined the webinar, and a special welcome to our two panelists who have agreed to spend some time with you all and give us an insight in the field that they're working. We want to welcome Dr. Tez Chingtham. Sir, welcome, sir. Thank you for your time. And Professor Sanjay Pandit, sir. Thank you, sir, for your time and welcome to the session.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this session is targeted to youth, and we will try to keep it very specific around the career options, around the field, what are the trends and what are the different avenues via which they can pursue career around it. Right. Just to set the context, I would just like to introduce both the speakers and would like to know more about their work, because I've just gone through the bio. It's like really a lot of things, and I thought, like, what better way to understand from them what are they doing currently. But just to introduce, we have Professor Sanjay Pandit, who is a scientist at Northeastern Satellite Application Center, which is a unit of ISRO and based in Shillong. And we have Dr. Tez Chingtham, who is currently a CEO of AIC-SMUTBI, which is a technology business incubator in Manipal, India. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so welcome, sir, and welcome both of you. So we'd first like to go to Sanjay Pandit, sir. Sir, can you briefly introduce and tell us about what is your current role and what are you doing and what are the areas that you're working currently? Just to give a context in terms of to help students to understand what are you currently doing, and I'm sure many students might get insight from that.
Oh, so good evening, everyone. Myself Sanjay Pandit. So I did my BTech from IST, Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, in aerospace engineering domain. Then I started working as a scientist in Northeastern Space Application Centers. Here I am basically designing and developing drones or UAVs for mapping northeastern states, for disaster reliefs in northeastern states. And we are also doing mapping of like critical infrastructures and other agricultural fields related to various domains. So that is what we are doing here in UAV lab at NESAC.
Very interesting, and there is the reason why we wanted you to be in the one of the panel was there's a lot of craze when we ask students, like there's a lot of craze around drones, and they wanted to know the different applications that are possible with drones. So we're really looking forward, and we hopefully many students will get an insight about what this entire thing about drone and how can they make career around it. Now, next to Dr. Tez, sir, can you please briefly, I mean, you're handling multiple things right now, but can you just briefly take us to what are you doing currently as a professor and also as your role of CEO in Atal Innovation Center in SMU?
Dinesh, thank you so very much. A very good evening to everyone. a very a rare opportunity to address the youths and the young minds of the Northeast, because it's very rare that we could gather like this today. My name is Dr. Tez Chingtham. Originally I'm from Manipur. I've been here located in Sikkim for the past 4 5 years now, and I am technically a professor in computer science. I am a alumni of IIT Guwahati, and I have been working in the field of robotics, AI, and machine learning. That's my forte and my strength. I've been working on this field for a very, very long time. I worked on domains including artificial immune system, where we tried designing the human immune system for robots. Those are things that we worked on initially. But as we move forward, I just realized there are a few things that we cannot possibly, the moment we study all this, there were no opportunity in our times, at least in our times. I met the first drone in 2006, and we tried flying a drone in the campus. But unfortunately, at that point of time, there were no support. We had to do right from the scratch of doing everything. And when we wanted to commercialize this, we did not know where to go to. We wanted to sell this product, but we don't know how to go about doing it, because that is not the support that you get in any of the engineering colleges, be it IIT or IIC. You go to any of these places, because in the early days, now there are a lot of support that's happening. So there are opportunities coming up, including NetFee coming and supporting with money to make sure that you're converting into a product. So these days, why I wanted to highlight this bridge is because there's already a bridge that has come up, which was not prevalent in our times when we were a student, or when we were aspiring to be robotics experts, or robotics enthusiasts. I would say robot enthusiasts when we started off, not an expert, but there were no support. So that is the reason why I switched from the profession of academics to something that is scalable, something that can be converted into a business. That's why I have become a CEO in the incubator that can convert your idea again into a product, and that we can sell. The product that we made it in 2006, which we flew at that point of time, nobody has ever made it in those days around this place. At least in my place, nobody has made it in Sikkim and around this region. But today, those products which we made it are available in the market for 150 to 200 rupees. That's amazing changes that has happened. So that is what what technology can actually do in our life. So these are some of the experiences that I have. Now currently I'm working with a few students who are now, I have moved beyond the drones, and we are currently working on wearable devices. We have developed some of the robots being controlled by EMG, ECG, and a whole lot of things, so that we can control devices using, your bio signals. That is what we are in right now.
You are the professor that every engineering student wanted to have one. So, you were, so coincidentally, we share the same space. I'm also an IIT Guwahati alumnus. So it's good to know that, so you started flying the drone in 2006 and I entered in 2007. So probably I was not been able to see that, and would have been very changed. And very rightly told that especially in institutes like around that time, around 2007, 2006, 2010, 12, 15, around that time, there was no, ecosystem where a student who has some idea around it and they can really prototype and can make it a market-ready solution. So it's very nice to know that you have switched to that and helping many other engineers or engineering students or startups to make their dream come true and make it market-friendly. So very interesting to know that. Now, sir, what I will do now, we will just like to go deeper into the both space. So the reason why we have put the two sessions together and we have two speakers was so that a student can give a balanced perspective and a different perspective from two different people who have worked in a different field but are very much linked at the same time in the whole field of robotics, automation, and engineering, which is there is a lot of craze among students to pursue engineering, and in engineering also there is a lot of craze around robotics, or drones, right? But I think it's very important for them to really understand what is the trends and what is the field all about. So we would first like to come to Professor Sanjay Pandit. Sir, can you please tell us and help us understand the whole idea, the whole field around drone? Because many students feel that drone is probably they have seen drone in a wedding where the drone is used for a wedding photograph, right? Which is an important thing, which is an again interesting application of drone. But as we see now, the drone and its application has gone beyond those things, and it can help us in many different ways. Can you take us an insight in terms of what the field has to offer and what are different avenues that are available if a student want to pursue a career in related to drone and allied technologies?
So first of all, as sir said, this So I am very new to this domain. If compared to you people, I like I was graduated in 2017 only. So recently only have graduated, and it's been just 5 years since I'm working in this domain. So what we use, like the drone that you see in wedding, is the same drone that we use for mapping also. So
Okay.
the difference is when we use it for wedding, it's just snap, a single snap that we are concerned about. But when we map area, our concern is to create an orthomosaic and get data out of it. Like we can put different kind of payloads in it on it. It can be a multispectral camera or a hyperspectral or a thermal camera. These cameras are used for mapping and getting detailed about detail about the say crop or any construction site or industrial site. So this is like if you compare the wedding drone and this drone, both are same. The
Okay.
only thing is it's just an upgraded technology, like the uh, one used for mapping, and the data that comes out of the drone is processed when we go for mapping. So we have geo reference locations and photos are geotagged. So it can be stitched together to make a digital elevation model where we can get data of each and every point, like what is the elevation of each point with respect to the other point, so we can plan things better. We can get spectral signature of a crop and get the health out of it, like what is the health, and like where do we need to stress more if we are going for spreading fertilizer. And again we had done some surveys where we had calculated the amount of infestation that had happened in the crop, so that can be used for getting insurance for crop. So those applications are vast. For city planning also we have done in Shillong. So in that we are supposed to give the best location of uh, critical things. Suppose there is a we have to manage the waste, then what should be the optimal location so that we can reduce the effect of those waste to the city population, and also reduce the cost of transportation and every processing things. So this is all we do here. And another thing is we help in disaster management also, like that is what we are currently doing. Like in Silchar, recently when the floods happened, we had delivered some essential commodities to household where it was required, and we have mapped the railway track from Lumding to Silchar. So that was used for planning the better route, or it was used to assess what is the current situation and what needs to be done. Like by visual inspection or by see for getting to if you want to know the health of the track, the only thing that you can do is you can run a rail or a small trolley over it and judge it. But that is possible only when you have something over it. Suppose you don't have that, then what is the first thing that you can do? You can fly a drone, get the elevation data and see how the tracks have been misaligned, or what is the structure beneath that track, or what is this slope or gradient of that track. So based on all these things you can plan better and act in proper way. There are many things. So this is something and even hydrological modelings we have done. Like for Ganga Nadi, we have like the flow channels and all these things, calculations and all can be done via drone.
So basically, so you're saying that in the drone mapping part, so it's not only about taking that photographs, it's also about
Yeah,
analyzing the photograph,
processing. Yeah, that
process the
is more
photograph.
important.
That is more important, and that's how the application of drone is getting even more importance, because you can reach
Yeah,
those areas where probably humans access is not very easily feasible. So you're
yeah,
saying that drone, with the drone, the photography part or the images part, you're saying the analysis part is also equally important,
yeah,
and taking an action out of it, like or suggesting basically which area or which location would be a better for, in your case, the example that you mentioned, where probably a waste, where we can dispose the waste in case of Shillong city. So like apart from the 2-3 applications that you mentioned, what are the other applications that you see that, or what are the other application? And if we see in students' perspective, so what are the other areas which are coming up when it comes to drone? May not be applied to your work, but I'm asking in general so that student can get a broader overview of the options that are available with drone.
So one thing is using it for hobby, like videography, photography.
Yes.
That is like for starting, that is the best thing I'll suggest, because that gives you an idea of how the things work. And the data analytics part you will come later. And this is the one thing. Then you have, like, you can make use of it in agriculture, like spraying drones and assessing real estate, the what is the condition of real estate, make advertisement out of it. You can make public announcement systems via drones. That is what we have also done. And other thing is, I can give you an example where students can come in, like a unique project that can be derived out of this. They can, suppose they are going in a wedding and bride and grooms are there. They can take a 360 picture of that particular, both of them, and they can create a 3D model of it.
Okay.
They can print that model via a 3D printer, and that will be a souvenir for their, like, people spend lakhs on this. So students can easily do this. This will be a very unique thing that is not being done, and it can be taken up by students. So applications are like it's never ending, endless kind of. So you have to find out a way where you can apply your skills, or you can even create a market for it. See, if you do this, and if it gets publicity, it's all about publicity and social media nowadays. If it gets publicity, then you are going to, like, you are going to make money out of it.
So basically, with the idea, Sanjay sir can help you with this idea, and Tej sir can help you how to market it now with his incubation. So I think it's a so. But I think the learning here is that, like, definitely with the drone, a lot of possibilities are there when you also mix this angle of analysis and interpreting those the images that are being captured.
Yeah.
And it has application in various fields. So
analysis is actually a expert oriented domain, so you need to spend a lot of time in going about that.
Yeah.
So that is why I didn't concentrate much on that. For initial or beginners, this is something where they can start.
Yeah, so basically we also wanted to give students the insight, like what are the possible things that they can do, even because for many students it might not be restricted to only photography or only to photography. They might want to include this engineering. So students who have that engineering bent want to add to it and want to do something around drone and make a career out of it, is what we wanted to.
So see, drone delivery is one thing that is like people are concentrating nowadays. Even Amazon and AWS, everything, they are spending a lot of money in that. Then you have pothole detection system where you fly a drone and it will generate the location of potholes in real time, so that can be used for like maintaining road maintenance. Then you have Kisan drones where like government is providing assistance to the new startups, and even the rules and regulations are quite relaxed in that scenario. So you can, like, the one of the thing that students can go in is drone show, organizing a drone show where drones will be flying in swarm network and making patterns out of it. So that was done in Republic Day, this Republic Day. So 3,000 drones were flown. So something of that sort you can start with.
Thank you, Sanjay sir, for this perspective. Coming to Tej sir, so like we wanted to know more from you around the field of robotics and engineering, because you have been working around it, and you were also mentioning in the initial address that the application of these in biomedical sensors or in biomedical sciences and different fields, right? So can you sir give us an insight about if someone who is interested in robotics or robotics, and how can they, what are the future trends and what are the different options that a person can pursue in that field?
Well, Dinesh, just listening to the other speaker as well, and I think quite an impressive discussion so far. I just want to take back a little, backward and come back to the history of how we all started off with this. I don't know if many people are aware, because the whole robotics is something that we do not have a standard even today. As we speak today, there are no standards around robots. So meaning, what kind of standards are to be used. We don't have an IEEE ISO kind of a standard where it is to be uniform across the thing. So that is the reason why we do not have standard platforms on robotics. We don't have an operating system that can work on robotics like the way you have a mobile phone or your computer science that you have your PC. So robots will work on varieties of domain and varieties of platform. That's why you have hardware as well. So people pick and choose what is the best, easily available, and the cheapest. That is how it has been designed so far. If you look at it, that is how it works. So because it is majorly because there is some conflict between RIA. I don't know if anyone has ever heard about it. Something known as Robotics Institute of America, which started sometime in 1974, and JIRA, which stands for Japanese Industrial Robotics Association. They started in 1973. These two are the main authorities who have classified robots per se as to how do you define a robot. So now the Japanese has a different definition of robots and the Americans have a different definition of robots. So that's one of the reasons. Anything that is moving, anything that is automated, you cannot call it as a robot. In that case, you can possibly call the ceiling fan that you have as a robot. The calculator would have been a robot now because it can do a lot of calculation. Likewise, it does have challenges. Even today, we do not have a very thing on it because there are conflict around it. And in Japan, in the early stage, the Japanese concentration was more towards the industrial component of it, whereas in America it was more on academics and research oriented part of it. This was something that's something that has been missing in the introductory part for all the robotics sessions that I have seen across the country that I have seen. Because I attended many of these cases when I went to Hong Kong. Also, when we presented around all these cases, there were people discussing and deliberating on these issues when we had this IEEE conference on robotics and stuff like that. So coming to the perspective of engineering, like you said, to be very honest, robotics basically can be classified into three components. That any robot that you design, be it a drone, be it a normal robot, whether you want to send it to Mars or wherever it is, it basically comprises of three basic components. If you look at it, one is the kinematics part of the locomotion that moves. The moving part is one part. The second part is the intelligence part. So the second part is the sensors where you perceive things. So what is around you, whether you can see things, whether the things that is in front of you is an obstacle or not. So this is around perception. And the third part is intelligence. So any robot that you deal with will be basically divided into three components. Whenever you design a robot, you'll have to basically deal with these three basic components. Whether it is drone or whether you want to send it to Mars, it will come into the same three components. So now, when it comes to engineering, because we are talking about the career options here, I want to tell you that in India, when I introduced robotics in computer science, coming back from IIT, when I came back to Sikkim Manipal University, when I tried introducing robotics, a lot of people questioned, saying that robotics should be part of mechanical engineering. I think that's a concept we grew up with. Everybody objected, saying that how can robotics become part of computer engineering? So that is the reason why you find robotics books. If you open robotics books in India, you'll find that majorly it is concentrated on kinematics and the mechanical. That is what you will find. Yes, you will see this. The books, I'm not just saying it, but if you open the library, you open Amazon, you'll find the books, open it on, then you'll find all like that. Because the concentration and people's belief was that robotics should be done mechanically, but it has changed, it has evolved, the technology has evolved. Similarly, in terms of perception, it was all an open loop system where if you go, you reach there, if you don't reach, you don't know whether you have reached there or not. So that's the kind of thing, but with lots of sensors that has come in, cheap sensors. Ultrasonic sensor used to cost very expensive those days. Now it's available for less than 20 rupees today. So that's the reason why perception has become very interesting these days. And at the same time, algorithm is the last component where we add intelligence over and above the overboard offer. So that's why the robots have become very, very intelligent. Just now, before I came in here, I was just watching a drone being flown, with human carried from one place to another. The Prime Minister of India, Honorable Prime Minister of India, inaugurating for the Defense Navy, deploying it. So the problem still, even in drone, is that the payload is a problem because you can't carry basically heavy payload. That's one thing. The second thing is the duration of the battery that you have is again still a challenge. We're still struggling with the battery capacity that we have. It will not last very, very long. Okay, but having said that, the main reason why I feel it is very important, considering the ratio why robotics is going to be important, is because it is because of just one condition that is called dependency ratio. When I say dependency ratio, it actually means the age ratio, because there are lots of elderly people who are going to become older. India is one of the youngest country. I don't know if you'll agree with me. India is one of the youngest country because maximum population, about 60% of the population is below the age of 28. So that means we are relatively young. So what happens with the remaining 40% of the population? Now this young generation, 60% of the population in search of job after your engineering, MBBS, BA, BSc, whatever you study, will go out and migrate into larger city, look for jobs. What happened to the parents who are staying at home?
Yes.
You have parents, people, elderly people staying at home. They will not be able to clean. They will not be able to clean the house. They will not be able to do, those chores that you do every day. Say, for example, you want to make sure that there is security at the gate. They may not be able to open the door. So under such circumstances, how do we handle this? That is a time when automation is required, and probably robotics is going to play a major role in this. That's one of the very inspiring motivational point for us to consider and take up robotics as one of the points. So it's very important to identify where are the motivational points where robotics has come in recently. It's not because it is fashionable. सब लोग ट्विटर में है इसलिए हम लोग ट्विटर चले गए, हम सब लोग इंस्टाग्राम में है तो हम इंस्टाग्राम में चला गया. Everybody has got a Korean trend, so we start wearing Korean clothes. That's not how it works. But deep within there is an underlying meaning. The underlying meaning is that the dependency ratio is going to be higher as we grow a little older from now. As the younger generation starts working and started looking for jobs. And that's exactly where robotics is going to play a major role in this. That is the reason why I feel robotics is going to play a very, very vital role and a significant role. And that is why there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming around this robotics and automation. Second thing, robotics is not just confined to about, moving parts and moving things and then flying things. That is what we see. But you could actually have a robot performing operations, remote operations. Suppose a doctor which is very, very good in US, he's not able to travel and perform the surgery in India. He could actually perform the surgery by movement in US and perform the same surgery task here through a remote teleoperated robots. These are things that is possible. These are things that can be done now. So and it will be exact precise movement that can be done on a robot there in US. The same thing will be executed here. The only question lies as to who will be the first patient, because when we try to do the experiment. But having said that, as we improve and as we evolve, these are things that is going to happen as we go forward. But what I'm trying to say is, we are not completely dependent on the machine, and the robot is not going to rule us. But having said that, because a lot of people have asked me saying that, are the robots going to rule us? No, the machines will not be able to do anything without us. A lot of time people told when IT boom happened in India, people saw that, it's got a lot of automation, computer science is going to take over, computer will control everything in our life, there will be no jobs. What happened in India today? The largest job provider is the IT sector again today in India. That's exactly what's going to happen. So we have to concentrate and we have to go along with the technology that is getting evolved around this place. And our youths and the students whoever's listening today, I'm not saying that you should study robotics, you should study, but please have a bent of mind towards this particular subject to make sure that you are prepared for it. Tomorrow somebody does it and then you should not look at it as a science fiction movie. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, that's all I have to say from this side as of now.
Very beautiful perspective and very insightful thing that the dependency ratio part, like most of the debates that happen is that like India is a young country, and probably the automation part would be required in countries like Japan, which is aging, or in maybe the Europe. But it's very interesting insight that you put up here was that if we are the younger generation, if they are getting more jobs and they're migrating, the dependency ratio on the adults, the 40% is even more. It's really interesting. And the whole idea, how you explained about robotics on the three things as kinetics, sensors, and intelligence is really very insightful. And I hope the students who are listening will get a perspective around it, like what robotics, a basic, I'm sure like they would be, it's a good starting point for them to really understand. So very beautiful perspective, sir. Now, coming back to Sanjay, sir. What are the different pathways which a student can follow to pursue a career in with related to drone, or maybe with related to space application, or you can say around in general, right? Around space application. What are the different pathways that a student can pursue?
Sir, I like to add one more thing to Tez's comment. So he said that like the sensors are becoming cheap and all. So the only thing that differentiates our drone or from other robotic things are the sensors that are used in drones are the highest quality, because we need reliability. That is what is the prime importance when we design anything that is going to be a drone. If something is flying over your head and because of one cheap sensor it lacks something, so it's designed on aerospace principles. So first of all, like aerospace and mechanical engineering is what people can pursue. And like I'll just describe what all the domains there, then I'll come to the space part.
Please.
So aerospace, mechanical, aeronautics, for designing the basic structures, reducing vibrations, and then like making the inertia more effective for controlling. Then you have electronics and communication, telecommunication, computer science. Then you have optics, electro optics for like designing cameras. You have like a blend of so many domains going in one drone. So drone is something that is like very critical. Like the robot that is working on a ground, that see, we use same controller for a lawn mower. Like we can put a controller in a lawn mower and it can go about cutting your grasses in lawn or fully automatically. So nothing wrong. Like it's like if even if something fails, you're not going to lose anything because it's on the lawn. It cannot fall, or even if it comes near any people can avoid that and go away. But drone is something that if it fails, it creates like it can take a life. So that is the basic idea when we designing any aerospace vehicle or aerospace material, aerospace or airborne thing is like it takes a lot of effort. And the other thing is like at the same time we can make like we can increase the weight by putting on good sensors and all. We here comes the what do you say, the structural mass also. So we need to consider that we are not carrying too much of weight. To carrying too much weight will increase the weight of that drone, decrease the flight time. So as I had already mentioned that drones are having very limited flight time. So we have to see all around. We have to optimize the thing for our applications. Then students who are below class 12th, I'll recommend them to concentrate on, like I'll come to the like career perspective of it.
Yeah, please.
So the students who are currently below 12th class, I'll suggest them to excel in their like respective subject. Whatever subject they have taken, they should like get through it. Like you are going to need it in future. I trust me, even if you neglect one topic, you are going to like get face to face with it in future, whatever domain you select. So up to 12th class, it's a basic thing. Please concentrate and try to achieve high marks and gain knowledge out of it. Both are important, not just one part of it. Then you can while selecting college, if you want to work in space related domain, then you can like try for IST. It's one of the only one center in entire India. IST stands for Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology. So it's fully government funded college, like ISRO college. It's established by ISRO, and it takes only 60 students, 60 like 150 in total students per year, and they are trained, and they as per the needs of ISRO, the scientists in ISRO are the faculties. So we'll get to know a lot about the actual domain, like what works are going on, how something is done in space industry. All the insights you will get firsthand if you go in that. So that is one thing I wanted to concentrate on. And others are engineering fields which can contribute to the robotics that are used in drone industry also. So candidates can take up that courses and they can come to this domain and contribute.
Okay, so I have two quick questions for you, sir.
Yeah.
For IIST, what is the admission route? If you can highlight that also for them. And like I know the domain is engineering, but like in drone, like or in related careers in space science, what are the other options if students want to go via pure science route? So if they go via that route, how can they be how are they used or needed in this industry? Can you also please highlight on these 2 points?
Okay, so first for the first question, IST you can go via like clearing JE mains and advanced. It's that route only, and you have a separate application form that comes after the JE results are declared. So you can apply in that, and based on list, you will be called for counseling, and then like it's just similar to what you do with other JE colleges. So the only thing is you have to apply separately for IST, and you the channel is same JE mains and advanced.
Okay.
And okay, so that
The
being
second was around what are the
sorry.
if a student want to go via pure science subjects, how
Yeah.
can we contribute to the field?
So see, nowadays like after the privatization thing has come up, many space related firms have come up. Even IST alumni have like opened their own firm. Like StatSure is one of the company which our senior has founded, and it's like it provides end-to-end solution to the space industry. Even they are preparing to make launch vehicles now. Satellite was one thing they was making earlier. Now they are coming into the launch vehicle part of it also. So one thing is you can go in like in any of these company, and the other thing is if you want to go specifically in ISRO, then you have ICRB, ISRO Centralized Recruitment Board. Then you have IST. IST from IST, ISRO takes directly. Like if someone goes to IST, they are recruited directly. Like they are inducted directly. So these are the two basic things. Then one more is by direct interview. So in ISRO, when we get requirement of a specific domain like BSc, MSc, or this kind of background, then we conduct interviews, direct interviews. So candidates can apply for it, and it's merit based.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure like students have taken a note of it. If they want to join ISRO, if they want to go into this field of space science and technology, what are the different career pathways? So thank you, sir, for highlighting those. Coming to Tej sir, can you please explain us like if someone wants to go into robotics or in the robotics domain or in the automation part, what are the different career pathways that they can pursue?
See, Mr. Dinesh, I think Dr. Sanjay has really rightly pointed out on a couple of areas, domains. As I mentioned earlier, if you are genuinely looking into robotics, you do not necessarily have to have, a basic background of robotics, because if you're strong in your, 10, 11, and 12, if you know the basic of sciences, I think that is where the basic things begins. And if you know that, you can actually become a hobbyist. And there are a lot of people as hobbyists, they might have taken up commerce, but they have designed drones and they have designed robots, they have designed multiple products. And why I said the cheaper thing was because it is easily available to you. You can online, purchase it online on Amazon, and you can start practicing it and start working on it. Whereas, like how he rightly said, like how Sanjay ji has rightly said, Dr. Sanjay has rightly said, if you are looking for mission critical products, then you have to go for high precision sensors. Those are expensive. We are not looking at that, because in the initial days, if you want to be a hobbyist, you're not going to buy the most expensive product. So what I'm trying to tell you is, very rightly said, we have to begin with the basic foundations, class 10, 11, 12. If your basics on your physics, mathematics, and your basic science backgrounds are clear, or people who are also who do not even have those backgrounds, and then but very, very enthusiastic about these subjects, can always pick up. There's nothing, I think, with the new education policy that has come in, I think we have become more open to a lot of other avenues. So you can become a commerce graduate with a qualification in something very, very different in physics. I think you can merge them together, which was available to people like Elon Musk in US. I think we're going to open up here. So I think this is an interesting phenomenon that the India government has come up with as well. So these are openings that's for you. And with all this, the only thing that is important that I have seen over the period of time, and I see that in Dr. Sanjay, Mr. Dinesh, all of you, that I see is, the most important thing that is important is not engineering, not commerce, not graduation, but I think it is grit. You need to have passion for long term, not short term. That is the most important qualification you need to have. If I were to advise you, to take up a particular domain, to a particular subject, whether it is robotics, whether you want to become a doctor, whether you want to become an engineer, whatever it takes. But the only thing that is important for you is to have a grit. That is passion for long term. That is my definition for grit. I don't know how it is defined in English, but for me, I would define it as passion for long term. It should not be a short term passion. I know I'm interested in this for 3 months, and that's not how it's going to work. You're supposed to be passionate about what you want to do for a long term period. And believe me, if you believe in that, if you think that you can do it, you will always do well in life. And when I took up as the CEO of this incubator, I don't have an MBA. I don't have no management knowledge, but today I'm able to guide people because I'm out of sheer interest. I've undergone a couple of other training as well, but we are able to understand how marketing works, how things, because it's all because of passion, how you want to build things. That's very, very important as you grow. And I think there are a lot of people. I think we don't have the Steve Jobs and the Bill Gates. They don't have a graduate degree. If you look at it, it's all about passion that has built the world. So it is. The most important thing is, just because Steve Jobs and Bill Gates started their journey in a garage, I'm not asking you to tell your parents to vacate the garage and then start working. That's not going to work. That's not the place where it works. It's a passion that you build, and that's very important. That is going to build things for you in future. So that is where I would like to advise first. And the second thing is, we have openings almost everywhere. Any graduate, any kind of degrees will, if you're passionate about enough, you don't have to go to an IIT, you don't have to go to an engineering college, you don't have to go to all the best colleges in the world to do what you want to do. I think more importantly, again, getting back, it is all about passion. So that is what I would like to leave as a last word for everybody.
Okay, I mean, it was very nice to hear this, because I totally agree with this, sir. Like, when we see the journey of many people who have been able to achieve something, or who are able to crack something in terms of some amazing innovation, or maybe some amazing products that they have come up with, it's all about because of the grit, right? And it's very nice that you brought it up. And I think for all the students who are listening to this, I think this is very important, that having sustained and long-term passion is more important than just having shifting passions and not working on it for a long. So that really changes everything. So, like both of you mentioned about about starting something or start something as a hobbyist, right? Now we have a lot of students who have joined the platform, and probably even down the line they will see this talk. So we just wanted to know, like, for example, I want to work something on robotics, right? Can you just give us some resources, or can you share us some ideas or some ways by which I can be any student who want to start into that robotics without the background, maybe from science, or maybe from commerce, or maybe from any background, maybe school student, maybe parents, right? What are the things that they can do and can get started with the whole idea of robotics? First, sir, to you, and then with Sanjay sir, we would like to know the same thing for drone or anything related to astronomy, space science.
Okay. Well, when I started off robotics, actually, I have never seen a robot in my life when I started off. Same goes for me when I started having my BTech in computer science way back in 1994-5. Then I had not seen a computer when I started my BTech in computer science. So it's not always about having the thing. So what actually I did was the only thing that makes the difference between the youths today, the younger generation today, and us was, in our time we do not have the resources to even read on an internet because we don't have it. The best thing for us to begin with is to start doing a little bit of literature survey, a little bit of studies on robotics, as to understand the basics of it. What motivates you? Does it really sound interesting to you? Is there problems that I can solve by using a robot? It's just because Dinesh and Dr. Sanjay has made a robot, I should not be making a robot and joining the bandwagon just because everybody is doing it. Because I would prefer to see if my parents needs, because they are struggling to clean the house every morning, is there a way I can do something and connect some waters and then clean one of the room at least? Can I design that? What should I do? What are the things that I need? Can I read this up on the internet? And with that, if you start with that, and if you search on the internet, there are people like us who are ready to help you. Please reach out to us. We will be able to help you after that. There are lots of people, because I didn't even have this opportunity to connect to people, because I don't know, we didn't have an internet at that point of time. We would be writing a long letter on post, and then it'll go by the post office, and I don't know when it'll get delivered and when it'll come back. But today you could actually get on call like how we are able to discuss today, and we will be able to see if you are able to solve one of these problems, and if your parents are having these problems that you would like to solve using a robot, there are probably your friends' parents who are also having this problem. And maybe it's not so far away that you are able to sell that product to your friend's family as well. Now you already have a business also, and you're already pursuing your dream to pursue and work on the robot as well. That's how I would like to initiate the conversation to begin a robotics hobby as such. But if you're really looking into designing further into it, there are people like us, there are people like Sanjay ji, who are already there, who are already into it, and you can reach out to many of them. Even in the Northeast, IIT Guwahati, there are lots of professors like Professor Naya, Professor P.K. Dasa. A lot of professors are there who are actually working in this domain, and probably reach out to them also. They're all open to help you, anybody in that matter, for that matter, I guess. And that's how we should be able to build and help, I guess. That's how the best way forward.
So interesting thing that we should start first with identifying the problem around us, and how can robotics can solve that problem, and via that you start playing with it and try to solve that via first see the problem around it and then start building a solution for it. I think students these days don't have that. No, I will not say don't have it, but mostly they're not being trained, or they're not being taught we need to look at the problems, what are the problems around us. But I think it's a very good advice, and I'm sure many students who are listening would probably try attempting it. Sir Sanjay sir, can you say something where we can do and start playing with drones, or any resources or any suggestion that you have for that?
First of all, I'll like to I fully agree with this. The great intent that you mentioned about, that is everything that matters ultimately. If even I have studied everything and go about everything, if I don't want to do anything, then it's not going to work. It should come from within. So every field, it's regarding every field, be it engineering or arts or anything, it should come from within. So for aerospace related things, or drone related things, rather, so first I like students to I like to suggest one thing. Whenever you see any structure, be it a bridge or anything, try to think how it can be made lightweight, and it should be able to hold more weight, but at the same time it should be much lighter than that, whatever it is. So when you try to visualize things in that manner, how can I reduce weight and increase the strength of it, then you get an engineering field, how things can be aligned, how the forces or torque balance works, and what are the structure. See, even an egg can be dropped from 10th floor without dropping it, and we just need to attach 5 grams of some mechanism to it. So that is the thing, the lander that you see on Mars, it comes with such high velocity, but on impacting it shouldn't blast off. There comes the real thing, that is you should be able to defy gravity with minimum weight. So there comes the main part of whenever you go, whenever we talk about anything related to aerospace or space, lightweightness, strength, reliability, these things matter. Without any, if you even miss one, then you have disasters. That is the first thing. Then YouTube is a very good source if used properly. For learning in any of the concept in YouTube, nowadays you have everything. You just need to focus on that rather than wandering here and there. Go and be focused, or the intent should be clear whenever you're opening YouTube. It shouldn't be you shouldn't get distracted at first. Whenever we open YouTube, that happens. Whenever I advise friends for YouTube, they are we are not able to concentrate on it. We get distracted. So please make up your mind of what you want. Okay, what do you want to learn? Then the other thing is, if you want to learn about quadcopter or copters or drones, you should go to this open source community called ardocopter.org. Ardocopter. It's called Ardocopter, ARDU.
Yeah.
Ardocopter or Ardu pilot, rather. That Ardu pilot is the main term. Copter comes for the copter rules. So ardupilot.org, you go to that website, you'll find people sharing their experience with it's an open source community where people share their ideas, what they have built, and how they are able to achieve reliability, what all the structures we can modify to make it more efficient. All those things are shared there. So you can go up on that. I'll advise students to go because it's a wonderful platform to read about. You will really learn about what drones are when you go there. It's not just flying, like whatever the controls are there, whatever things go around in a drone, those things are available there. Even videos are available on that website. So they can go and check about that. Then for astronomy related things, Carl Sagan on YouTube or books are available, so you can read and get knowledge about it.
Okay. Thank you so much for the resources. That was my last question, but you already answered it. Like, can you suggest some books and resources? Because as a student, they want something to start. Like, like session, they've got a perspective, but it's very good. You've shared these resources. We will put it in the comment section, the website that you mentioned, so that in the name of the author.
Excuse. So as Tez said, you can reach out to any one of us and anytime. We are ready to respond to and even help you out with anything that you are doing. You can share your ideas, get inside out.
You will see me reaching out as well.
So, sure.
Yeah. So thank you so much for this resource. This was my last question, but you already answered. And now going back to Tez sir for the same question, sir, can you suggest us some websites or some books or some resources where a student can get started with this field of robotics and automation? Anything that comes to mind? Yeah.
Okay, so as such, there are too many of it that comes to my mind. And to begin with, there's this book called Introduction to Robotics. It's by an MIT press. I'm not able to recollect the name of the thing. So it's a good book to begin with. It's more of an English thing, so it's very interesting book too. You can easily read through and does not have too much of technicality. Unlike if you pick up an Indian robotics book, it's more of a mechanical and more of mathematical models there. You'll see this difference there as well. So you can open up and see that. That's quite an interesting book to read through. And besides that, like how I think our Dr. Sanjay rightly pointed out, I think the YouTube is one of the major resources. That's the point where a lot of motivation can come from. So I think these are the two resources. And with internet, I don't think, though Dinesh is asking, nobody's going to even buy a book or read a book. It's going to be all on internet. So I think internet is the best source for all of us. Even we started relying on it more than the books these days. So people have stopped going to the library. So that is what I think.
That's good.
So that's exactly where we stand.
With the new generation, it's even more challenging to send.
Yes, that is the challenge.
Yeah.
So I besides that, I don't have any other additional resources that I could add. But in case there's anything that comes up, and if that comes in, I will share with you all again.
Yeah, please share with that. You can just mail it to us, and we will put it up in the website, in the portal, as well as along with your talk. That these are some resources that a student can explore. Thank you so much.
I'll add one.
Yeah,
I'll add one.
Please.
There are two specific YouTube channels that I like to tell about. Like, I'm not promoting. I like it. That's why I'm saying. One is Real Engineering. You can go to Real Engineering YouTube channel. That is all I'll say, because Curiosity Stream is one more Curiosity Stream is there, but it's a subscription based, so I won't tell that now. If people are interested, they can go about. But Real Engineering is really something in which the concepts, the aerodynamic concepts are explained beautifully. Within 15 minutes, you'll get to know how a wing works. That even being an aerospace engineer, it took me 5 years to realize how the animations are so cool. So you'll get to know things very easily.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, we'll put this in the comment as well. Real Engineering is the YouTube channel. Yeah. Anything else that come to your mind, please feel free to write to us, drop a mail, and we will just collate it, because we felt like, sir, both of you mentioned YouTube is a great source, but then it's also a great source of distraction for many kids and for all of us as well. So when we have some curated content, it becomes more useful. And when it comes from someone who have used it and been using it makes a lot of differences. And you search something, how to make a robot. I tried it yesterday, so that I thought I will ask this in today's session, and it was full of different videos, and you just are in that continuous. You feel lost actually after a while. So it's good that some channels you have suggested. We will definitely put this, and Yeah.
Uh,
Anything else?
can I
Yes.
just for 1 minute? So like you were asking about what students can take up as initially. So I'll suggest, if you learn something, you can organize workshop for kids. Something like water rocket event, quadcopter event, or some events of that sort, that robotics related, or like any events that you organize for students after learning it can help them to like channelize, like make
Right.
money, monetize it. So
Hmm.
that also can be done. Like one of our senior has opened a water rocket like up form where they teach students to make water rocket. It's a pressurized bottle with water,
Hmm.
so they launch it for hundreds of meters.
Hmm.
So he has got that registered in Guinness Book of World Record for like largest participation, and he is doing great. So
Hmm.
it's just a something like trivial thing like water rocket can generate a lot of resources and money for you. And even ice cream bridge stick, like making bridge out of ice cream sticks.
I
Small
think.
small things are there, but you can make uh, it as your profession if you do it nice. That is all I wanted to say.
Now, see, now when you say so many things around this, look, an educator in me also gets up. So I would also like to suggest one challenge for all the students. This is a very famous challenge that we used to do with students, and it's very popular, which is the egg drop challenge, which is very simple. You could design something so that if you throw an egg from a two-storied building, the egg should not crack, right? So you have to crack that prototype, crack that model, put up anything that you want, but when you throw it, the crack should be safe. The apple should the egg should be safe when it lands. So we do this a lot with many students from different area, different geography, and we found that this in this particular, when you just think of, okay, we give them some material, just think how can you really create a mechanism or create a system where the egg will not break. It itself gives a lot of opportunity for them to really think, tinker, and play around it. And whenever the egg breaks, like, it doesn't break the heart actually, because they're really enjoying the whole process. And if it doesn't break, it's great, and they can always change the model and further optimize it and make it much better. So I'm really sorry for this if it has gone out of the track, but I'm also a teacher at the end of the day, so I always wanted to suggest some resources, and a lot of resources are coming in my mind which I also use, but I am just trying to restrict myself. But I think real engineering, ardocopter, all those things, and we will definitely put it in the comment box, and we're hopeful this will help students. Any any like final advice to students, Tej sir?
Uh, for me, I just want to highlight the fact that since we are particularly targeting the northeastern region, let me put this perspective very clear. We are located in a region where we are about 6 crore population. The population size of the northeast is about 6 crore,
Yes.
out of which there are about 45,000 villages. And please believe me, 80% of this population live in these villages. And unless you as youths do not do something, we will not be able to come out of this. Therefore, we are all depending and banking on you, because this is your time now, and you have to help and make sure that we come out of this and we become a better society to live in. That's all I would like to advise everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Any last comment, Sanjay sir?
Same as said. The only thing is you can use drone to drop medicines in faraway villages in very less time. That is also something we are doing with drones. So please have a clear intent, work towards it, study hard, because at the end of the day, that is also going to matter to you. When you, like, even you are not like, just not for job. Whenever you are going to make a product, then you have if a clear understanding of any concept will help you to make it a better product, so that people will like it, and it will help you also grow, and also the society to grow, other people benefiting.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tej sir and Sanjay sir, for giving your time and giving such an insightful session. We planned to close the session at 6:15, but it was really engaging, really interesting, and we went 15 minutes ahead. Thank you, Tej sir. We hope you get well soon, and thank you for taking out time despite your health was not well, but it was full of energy. And thank you so much for all those lovely insights. Thank you once again on behalf of Advancing Northeast Portal to all the students who have joined the session today live, and others who will see it whenever they get time to see it.